And it from three. Hull comes soaring in again. Just uncanny knack. And cashes in.
Is on the upper left wing. Just got inside. Circles around. Pure.
Game 3 didn't just feel wrong. It looked wrong. It sounded wrong. And every possession told the story of a team fighting both their opponent and the officiating crew. Indiana clawed for every rebound, every loose ball, every contested shot, only to see that effort erased by whistles that arrive at the worst moments imaginable. Fans inside Gamebridge sat stunned as Las Vegas marched to the free throw line again and again, even when contact came from their own physicality. Social media lit up instantly, frame-by-frame breakdowns proving what every eyeball test confirmed. The Fever weren't beaten. They were stripped of the game. When officiating decides momentum, it stops being basketball. It becomes interference. And Game 3 was the clearest example all postseason.
A'ja Wilson sets a screen where she extends her leg out, but of course they call the foul on Lexie Hull for A'ja Wilson's illegal screen. Then A'ja Wilson and Alyssa Smith totally foul Michaela Timpson, but there is no call. Could have took a 1-point lead going into half. Now we're up by 3 and they call a foul that isn't a foul. So we don't get calls when we're getting hit, but the Aces get a call when nobody touched anybody.
The unfairness didn't start in Game 3. It built over the entire series. From the opening moment of Game 1, Indiana's physical, disciplined defense was treated harshly, while Vegas was granted leeway to push, bump, and body without consequence. Possessions that should have ended with Fever stops quickly turned into free points for the Aces. In Game 2, the pattern grew even louder. Stephanie White didn't hide her frustration afterward, saying it was nearly impossible to find offensive rhythm when the whistle blew every 10 seconds. Indiana couldn't run, couldn't cut, couldn't push tempo. Meanwhile, the Aces used those breaks like breathers, regrouping while Indiana struggled to play through constant stoppages. The tone was set early, and it was set unfairly.
Steph, why don't you think you were able to find any flow? And when that was the case, what are you trying to do to jumpstart things, maybe on the defense?
Well, it's hard for us to find flow when there's a foul call every 10 seconds. I mean, it just really is. And when they're at the free throw line, we can't get up and down the floor. And that's a challenge. They were much more aggressive and physical defensively. We didn't counter that with our off-ball actions or with our back cuts. So they took us out of our comfort zone. I mean, offense is about rhythm, it's about timing, it's about spacing. We allowed them to do that, and they kept us from doing it.
Game 3 magnified everything wrong with the officiating. The defining moment came when Aaliyah Boston tried to challenge a foul called on Jackie Young. White signaled immediately. The bench stood up, and players gestured toward the officials. And still, the refs refused to acknowledge the challenge. Seconds later, Chelsea Gray buried a huge corner three that instantly erased momentum. Indiana had worked for nearly 5 minutes to build. The crowd's roar flipped into disbelief. Players' heads dropped for a moment, and the Aces gained life they didn't earn. One ignored challenge turned into a 5-point swing. But more importantly, it reminded the Fever that they weren't just playing Vegas. They were playing the officiating too.
A'ja Wilson is 1 for 12 as the foul is called on Boston, and that will be number 2 on Aaliyah Boston.
You saw Indiana picking up full court pressure defensively, and if you're Aaliyah Boston, that's the one spot on the floor you do not want to get a foul call.
And Stephanie White is trying to challenge it and did not call the timeout in time. Gray in the corner. Cut it!
Within minutes, fans online were posting replay angles and slow motion clips, exposing a string of mistakes. Illegal screens ignored, flops rewarded, body checks overlooked, and challenges denied. Analysts, fans, and former players all weighed in. The narrative quickly became impossible to ignore. The Fever weren't losing because they played poorly. They were losing because the whistle dictated the direction of the game. The viral edits highlighted sequences where Indiana got raked across the arms without calls, only for the Aces to receive free throws from the softest, most invisible contact. Momentum wasn't shifting because basketball dictated it. It was shifting because officiating chose who got to run.
2-minute recap from last night. So Asia Wilson pushes Howard in the back. Howard pushes her in the back. It's a foul on Howard. Look at this. Aaliyah Boston gets totally fouled by Nalissa Smith. Like, it's obvious, but no call. And then Asia Wilson gets the call for not half as much. And then Nalissa Smith gets the call for not even getting touched. Here's a replay just to prove it to you. Yep, didn't get touched.
Asia Wilson's extended leg screen, textbook illegal, somehow resulted in a foul on Lexie Hull. Michaela Sides being slapped by both Wilson and Alyssa Smith drew nothing. And the final minute of the first half turned into a whistle festival where calls that never existed materialized out of thin air. Indiana's defensive stops evaporated. Their fast break chances disappeared. Their halftime lead flipped into a deficit that should have never existed. And the frustrations mounted. Fans booed. Players threw their hands up. Even neutral viewers commented that the officiating seemed determined to tilt the outcome. This wasn't inconsistency. This was advantage distribution.
Offensive foul, practically a football check, and the Aces score. So now the Aces cut it to 2, and then Asia Wilson sets an illegal screen, and they tied things up. And then Lexie Hull gets called for a foul for doing nothing when they just had 2 illegal screens they didn't call. All right, so this is fair. Same thing happens on the other side, but they don't call a foul for Kelsey Mitchell. So Leah Boston gets called for this foul for getting her arm grabbed, but Stephanie White can't challenge. They won't let her. That's the second time this game they didn't let her have her challenge. And then Asia Wilson starts acting like a big baby.
With the game unraveling around her, Lexie Hull delivered a performance that rewrote her playoff identity. Coming in questionable with a painful back injury, she looked limited in warm-ups. Nobody expected heavy minutes, let alone a breakout. But once she stepped onto the court, she became the spark Indiana desperately needed. 16 points on efficient shooting, 10 rebounds through sheer will, and a defensive presence that frustrated Vegas all night long. Her threes weren't just buckets. They were emotional turnarounds, rallying points that brought fans back to life every time officiating tried to deflate Indiana's rhythm. Hull didn't just play. She transformed the game's energy.
Boston has the mismatch on Lloyd. Help comes. Kick out. Hull will fire. And hit from 3. Last 2 positions inside from Indiana. Smith tied up by Hull, and a jump ball between Smith and Hull.
The cameras repeatedly caught Hull wincing, stretching her back, shaking off discomfort. Yet she kept diving for loose balls, boxing out players taller and stronger, flying into passing lanes, and chasing rebounds outside her area. The injury didn't limit her fight. It highlighted it. She became a symbol of Indiana's spirit, a team battered by whistles but refusing to bow. When she hit contested threes, Gamebridge exploded. When she tied up Alyssa Smith for a jump ball, fans rose to their feet. She embodied effort, resilience, and sacrifice. And in a game overshadowed by controversy, she delivered the most genuine performance on the floor.
On the left side of the floor, just to clear out, letting Jackie Young go to work.
Jackie Young with 17 points. Boston to the corner. Hull, catch, fire, and hit. Correct call. Evans dishes. Ray whips a pass inside. What a denial from Lexie Hull.
The Hull able to save the play.
12-point game, a little under 2.5 to go. Hull hits Indiana's first field goal of the quarter.
Indiana didn't truly lose Game 3. The game was taken from them. But Game 4 gives them the chance to reclaim everything. If Boston dominates inside again, if Mitchell provides offensive firepower, if Hull delivers another heart-filled performance, and if Gamebridge roars from tip-off to the last horn, this series can flip instantly. The Fever aren't finished. They're only getting started. Do you think the Fever can bounce back? If yes, comment, let's go Fever. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of the journey.